We do have enough to summon our new friend Mushy and Shroom. Cool looking heroes. People are having some fun with them.
It's only a game. Why you have to be...
Let's spend some resources on this guy, leveling him up. Girl? Them? Wave Nature Hero, Mage Frontline. We've already talked at length about this individual quite a bit. Do want to share some screenshots from eBonk that was shared to the private Hero Wars Central channel. We have 2 good fights, and I don't know who originally shared these because they blacked out their names, but I will give credit to eBonk for sharing these in our chat. You have an E3D with Fox lineup here. Actually, it's an E2D, I guess. There's no Dark Star in this line. You have the Aurora, Mushy, Alvanor, Nebula, Mojo combo. These front 3 right here seem to be a pretty solid core for this team. If you're thinking about building Mushy and Shroom, a lot of the fights that I'm seeing thrown around are using these 3 heroes. And it looks like a pretty handy win right here. Pretty handy win against a pretty common opponent. You know, you put Fox behind Daredevil, you put Elmir behind Daredevil, you add in Dorian, you add in Sebastian or Dark Star instead of Fox, and you have a pretty strong critical hit heavy team. Glad to see that this team ended up winning out. Of course, not many people level up Mojo, but since the rework, maybe you should. And then here's another fantastic fight versus some Way of Mystery folk here. Mushy and Shroom as a tank didn't survive the fights. However, we did win, or whoever did this fight won the fight. Dark Star, but no tank. Still using Nebula and Mojo. This individual probably really likes, you know, the Nebula Mojo combo and wanted to pop it in right here. Of course, the interesting thing about Mojo is that Mojo's artifact weapon is magic penetration. So if you have a couple of heroes that do magic damage that don't have a ton of magic penetration on their own, like Alvanor and Mushy and Shroom, then the Mojo magic penetration artifact weapon will greatly enhance their damage output. And if you have a nice little control lineup keeping those tanky fungi alive, then you're going to do very well. You're going to do very well. So the next couple things I want to show you here, I want to show you a couple of videos. This is Tim's videos. So we have a Aurora, Mushy, Alvanor core with Helios and Mojo. Of course, Helios to counter the critical hit. Here's your one of your classic fart Fafnir, Artemis, Tristan, Chaba lines. You got Arachne in here in the middle for control. So watching this fight, I don't like how it pixelated there. Mushy and Shroom, I think the designers at Nexters are getting high. I might need to up the video quality here. The interesting thing about this is that a bunch of the frontline heroes being silenced, they won't be able to use their ultimate abilities. And, you know, I apologize that it's kind of messy here, guys, but, you know, we're doing our best. We are going to end up being victorious here. Fafnir by himself at the end is kind of difficult to take down if you don't have the right teams, but with a magic penetration artifact and some good magic damage, we were able to finish off the fight. Now, one of the cool things that I found out about Mushy and Shroom today that I didn't realize reading the skills is that Mushy and Shroom's copies from his ultimate ability, they persist after death, which I find very cool. If you watch the fight after Arachne, I think it's Arachne kills my my core members here. Is it Arachne? No, it's Artemis. So you can see I still have a clone back here that can be healed up with his passive ability, or if you have a healer still alive, to survive the fight. Here is another Fafnir Artemis line. This one is using Luther and Judge with Faceless. Interesting combo for Fafnir Artemis. The same lineup as before. Again, you know, using Helios against critical hit heroes is always a good idea. The only hero that don't help Mushy and Shroom is Dorian. Yep, very true, very true. Well, no, they still kind of help. Still kind of help a little bit. You know, I guess it doesn't help. Dorian doesn't help them grow. Doesn't help the mushrooms grow. He does have a single target heal, but chances of, well, I don't know. That would actually be bad. That would actually be bad. You wouldn't want his single target heal to hit any of the branching mycelium or the copies. So that was a pretty straightforward fight. Didn't lose any heroes there at all. Oh, I should show you the fight screens. So here is here's the fight with Judge and Faceless, the damage output. Here is the damage output from the Fafnir Arachne line. Pretty decent there. Just showing you that we're at max or close to max. Since these are Tim's heroes, I believe they're all at max. And then the final fight is against another Way of Mystery with Pretty common Satori team, I think. I see a variant of this team quite a bit in Guild Wars and Global Championship. I see a lot of Astaroth Satori with Celeste, and of course Amira. Jorgen thrown in there for different reasons is always good. I see a lot of people saying that Jorgen's is still the absolute best hero on mobile, and I don't disagree. But Amira just putting piles of gold on everything. So much gold out there. Just, it's an embarrassment of riches. But the cool thing is you have a lot of area of effect healing from Thea, kind of powers you through it. Morrigan for little defenses, and of course the burst damage that she provides. Morrigan is a kind of a soft counter to Amira in a way, if you time things right, or if things are timed right for you. And there you go. We have another great win. Now, one of the statements that I've heard being thrown around quite a bit, that Celeste counters them nicely, but in the right teams, even Celeste's healing block doesn't quite cut it. So I'm super happy about Mushy and Shroom. I'm curious to see some of the fights that they're going to lose pretty handily. If anybody's had any issues with Mushy and Shroom teams dying to specific lineups, maybe Kark specific teams or Kira teams, or what have you, I'd be interested to hear more about that. So please send them my way if you're in possession of such video or such content. But showing a couple of fights. Of course, there's a ton. Just a ton of Hero Wars mobile teams that are really effective. ADA, Twins, Con Squad, Kark variants, so, a ton of Satori variants, a ton of Undead variants. I'd be very interested to see anything that anybody has, for or against Mushy and Shroom. So send those our way. But I want to give a big shout out to Ebonk and whoever provided those screenshots to Ebonk. And also, I want to give a shout out to Tim from the Hero Wars Mobile, the GOAT Facebook page, the best Facebook page for Hero Wars Mobile, for sharing that content with us. And I think that I'm pretty excited about this hero. Way more excited than I was whenever I was initially reading the skills. Probably more excited than I was about Iris, although Iris looked interesting. She seems kind of flimsy, and Fafnir being a very niche kind of hero. I think that this hero is going to fit in very similar to Fafnir. You're going to want to put Mushy and Shroom in a similar kind of situation that you would put Fafnir. Like, Fafnir has his own specific situations that he thrives very well in, and he doesn't deviate very far from those situations. And I think Mushy and Shroom is going to be kind of the same with Way of Nature, though Way of Nature doesn't really play into any of his abilities. So, who really knows? Personally, on this account, since I do need to build up an account to show on the stream, and I've decided to go ahead and do that. On this account, I think that I'm going to go ahead and build a Way of Nature team. The main reason why I'm going to do Way of Nature is I do kind of like the aesthetic of Shroomy, Mushy and Shroomy. I really do like the aesthetic. I think that I like Fafnir's aesthetic a little bit more, but the reason why I didn't want to go really deep into Fafnir, although I did on my main mobile account, I didn't want to go deep into Fafnir on the stream because that would mean that I was building another physical damage kind of team. You guys know what I mean, another physical damage team. And my main team on Facebook and web that I show off all the time is Kark or Zhu or Isaac, all of which do physical damage, right? I'd like to build up some mage stuff to show off and some pure damage stuff to show off as well. So very much looking forward to building this team out over the next couple of years, I guess. We're going to go ahead and invest a little bit more resources into this hero while we chat, and yeah, we'll invest a little bit more resources into them,